Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. The Grant.
My name is Niels Winter, and I am the creator, editor, and host of The Grant. The Grant is an independent, non-commercial podcast initiative with the ambition to dig into all corners of the EU R&D funding system on topics of interest for the full EU R&D funding community. I am very proud to present to you all a new episode concept on this podcast, the Grant Q&A. The concept is as simple as it is hopefully informative. 1. A guest has some questions in relation to EU funding, and 2. Another guest is a capacity and can reply to those questions. Through this concept, other beneficiaries throughout Europe approaching the same funding scheme can get enlightened on issues that they have already stumbled into or will eventually stumble into. I will slowly add episodes to the Grant Q&A as I move on. There are no limitations to the questions, so please reach out if you would like to be involved. In this episode, we will have a look at the Erasmus Cooperation Partnership goals. Stelios Procopiou, co-founder and director in the company Chrysalis LEAP, is developing trainings for startup companies, and he wants to get some support from Erasmus Plus to develop his trainings. But he has some questions before throwing himself at this. Christina Achilleos, owner and founder of the grants consultancy company Innosphere, is an Erasmus Plus expert with 45 successful Erasmus Plus proposals under her belt. She is surely the right one for Stelios to ask those questions he has. Please enjoy as we dig into components of the proposal, evaluation criteria, how to keep the proposal on track, and so on and so forth. Lots and lots of great guidance content for anyone sitting right now and preparing a proposal for this September's call round in Erasmus Plus. Please enjoy.
The Grant. Welcome to The Grant, the EU funding podcast. Today I will try something new. When you are a podcaster, you try to constantly develop different ways of program concepts, episode concepts, segments that fit here and there. So I work with this all the time. And for a while, I've been wanting to do a concept, a Q&A concept, where I invite people in where I have two guests. One guest that is approaching a funding scheme that has a lot of questions, and a specialist, someone who knows a lot about that specific thing that can answer those questions. And naturally, this is to have a program concept where people that are approaching funding schemes, they can relate to the person that is approaching it, which would have almost the same questions. And then it's like an open consultancy session with a very qualified person that can give advice on how to deal with the different questions. So that's the idea. And today is the pilot for that, so to say. It's the first time we'll try that. And I've been looking for a while for guests, but I reached out to an old guest of mine that I've been following since we started to podcast here. She's a former guest, Christina.
Hello, Niels.
Welcome in.
Hello.
And Stelios. And then the question guy, Stelios. Welcome.
Hi, Niels. Hi, Christina.
Thank you both for wanting to pilot this with me.
Thank you.
So you are the test persons for this concept.
Yes, we're the guinea pigs of this session.
Exactly. So we'll see if you crash and burn.
It's our pleasure, Niels. It's our pleasure. And you are testing this in the Mediterranean.
Indeed. The blistering hot Mediterranean. This is when this will be released. We will all be much more cooled down by autumn. But for now, it's hot. Where you are, at least. So everybody, all my regulars, they know the drill. First, we have an introduction of the guests before we can move over. So of course, and the debut. Stelios, you get the chance to present yourself first. So
Thank you, Niels, for the invitation. It's a pleasure to be here. A few words about me. I am a chartered accountant by profession and a CFA chartered holder. Formerly, I graduated from the Imperial College with a degree in chemistry and then switched on to the finance world. I'm here in my capacity as one of the founders and the managing director of Chrysalis LEAP, an accelerator, a startup accelerator based in Cyprus with more than 10 years of operation and various programs under our belt, and a few hundreds of startups having participated in our accelerator programs. Chrysalis LEAP is one of the regional partners of EIT Climate Kick, which is the largest EU body when it comes to sustainability and protecting the environment. We focused on clean tech by decision when we started Chrysalis LEAP. So we've run acceleration programs for startups that have a green element in what they do. Entrepreneurship is key, but we focused conscientiously on clean tech and sustainable development.
Back to that in a second. Thanks. First, I'm going to let Christina also give her a chance to present herself.
Sure. So once more, thanks, Niels, for inviting me to this podcast. It's my second time here. So I am honored. Christina Achilleos from Cyprus. I am the founder and CEO of InnoUsphere. InnoUsphere is a newly established SME based in Larnaca, Cyprus. We are a small team at the time being. However, we are experts in the design and project management of EU-funded projects. Since the beginning, on December this year, we have developed a lot of proposals. And since our topic today will be Erasmus Cooperation Partnerships projects, then indeed, this team has worked really hard for the March deadline. So we have submitted quite a few project ideas, waiting for the results at the time being. So what's really different about our approach at InnoUsphere? We are thinking outside the box. We are aiming to develop new educational approaches, emphasizing on the participatory teaching methods, and at the same time, including the learner in the center of this training and education approach. Ideally, we are emphasizing on vocational education and training. And if I have to say the key areas that are really close to our hearts, I would definitely say that we are really, really active in the field of sustainability, green transition, circular economy, circular tourism. But at the same time, utilizing our years of experience with working with startups and entrepreneurship, digitalization, innovation, and last but not least, we also love this key area, cultural heritage and culture. So that's it for now. We will have, opportunity to speak about this more in the following of the podcast.
Yeah, and how because you're a startup, how is it faring, the company?
Sorry, how is it?
How's it faring? How have the startup been? Are you okay? Is it are you doing well? Do you get orders in? Do you get leads?
Yes. I am really happy with the vote of confidence from associates and business leads that I collaborate with. So yes, I am in this field since 2014. I am an expert EU funding consultant. Thankfully, I have created a good network. So yes, it's going fine. Really happy for the first 8 months.
Yeah, good. But it's always curious, and I've always cheered people that take these steps, because it's, of course, it's a big step, huh? So it's
not easy. Definitely, it's really, really challenging. But when you love what you do, I think that, and you put in the effort, things are getting better and better as you progress.
Stelios, before we move into the actual main section here of Q&A and looking into that, can you share a little bit about the organization? What is your private company that is involved as an SME, and then you're a facilitator for others? Can you explain a little bit more about how that works?
We are a private company. Also an SME, a small team of 7 people, all from diverse backgrounds. We've got engineers on the team. We've got business psychologists, communication experts. One of our trainers is globally certified with the Strategizer Academy in business modeling. So we work collectively in combining knowledge and expertise towards delivering the training programs that we organize.
Okay, so so your business is training, but you make training programs.
Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Trainings for startups in all stages of development. Just to give a brief overview, we have training programs tailored to startups that are still working on an idea. That is no prototype, no customer, no definite market, just an idea, all the way to startups that have already secured customers. They have recurring sales, and they are at the stage where they should start engaging with potential investors and expanding their business in size and in new markets.
Okay.
So we cover all this spectrum. We alongside with the core acceleration program, we have successfully implemented some European funded projects from under Interreg Med and Norwegian funds, if I recall correctly the terminology, which focused on blue growth. Things that has to do with the sea. And also helping young people living on islands like Cyprus and other islands in the region to create sustainable businesses in their place, in their homeland, so that to contribute into the give something to the community, contribute to growth, and help these young people stay there and not move to a big city like most young people are doing in our times. So it's been quite challenging and interesting at the same time. And we like to make an impact. Participants in our programs have nothing to lose. They only have to gain. Even if their startup fails, what we say is fail is the first attempt in learning. So some skills, the knowledge and skills that they acquire during these trainings, the way they can delve into their idea and pivot and look at it from a different perspective in a way that they may never thought existed, this can help them with the next thing they will try to do. So we want to foster entrepreneurship. It's okay if you want to have a 9-to-5 job. That's okay. But if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to learn what it takes, and you have to learn that it's going to be long hours, sleepless nights, effort, risk, and all this. It's not an easy path, but the destination can be rewarding.
Indeed, and you just described Christina's mental state. That's an interesting to say. The circle is completed.
Well, I would like to add something to what Stelios said, if you allow
Sure.
some room for discussion here. I totally agree with Stelios, and what I would like to add is that being an entrepreneur takes a lot of guts to stick to your vision. You know, so going over this difficult path and never forgetting where you're aiming at, because many times the challenges that will come along the way will make you, question what am I doing now and why I'm going over this situation. Maybe the relationships with your colleagues, your collaborators are not going the way that you wanted. A lot of times you will find like financial obstacles, yes, which is again a really, really important thing along the way. But if you are really, really committed and passionate to your vision and you want to deliver impact, then I think that's the driving force to keep you going.
Yeah. It's a particular case with the whole startup field. So it's wonderful that you have organizations like yours, Stelios, that makes an effort, because it's also different framework conditions on the continent, right? So you have countries that have a lot of public support, a lot of things where you help that where they don't have to put a lot of money into it, but other places, if the state doesn't do something, then at least there's some private initiatives that makes an effort. I guess we'll probably get back to that in a second when we stick our heads into the core element of this podcast. But you probably use some of this funding to make it easier to get people into it. Good. That's it for the introduction. We should head on to the main issue, the main topic of the podcast episode. So how we will do it? First, Christina, you will explain the listeners and me your capacity within Erasmus, because it is Erasmus Plus we are going to talk about today. Stelios, you are approaching the funding scheme, and Christina, you've been helping probably with that. You probably share that with me and the listeners. But first, Christina, you'll get a chance to share your capacity, and then Stelios, you'll get a chance to we'll have a talk about your motivation, why you're approaching the program, and then we'll move into the question section. But Christina, first, can you share your It's almost like a sales speech, right? But the hatch here is of course yes, that you share with the listeners your capacity, why you are the expert here.
Okay, so my journey with Erasmus Plus started in 2017, and I can say this with full honesty. I was lucky enough to start working with the cooperation projects as a project manager. So I didn't start to write applications directly for Erasmus. I started working under the identity, under the hat of a project manager. And why I think this is important, because if you really don't see firsthand the project implementation of an Erasmus Plus project, the opportunities and the challenges being faced while it is being implemented, then believe me, you are losing like a big percentage of in a later stage if you want to develop an Erasmus Plus proposal on how to deliver a successful application. So I was lucky enough to go through the practice, experience the program, the possibilities, and then I progressed to writing actually applications. Of course, we are talking about preparation of key action to calls, especially, as I said, under cooperation partnerships. And also I have a very good experience in Alliances for Innovation. These two calls had different names in the past, similar ones, but I am using the current terms as the people know it today. So, I have a lot of years of experience by now with the program. I think that it's a great opportunity for individuals and organizations to learn, to be involved in education and awareness activities that have a direct impact on the European society. So I am, very, very eager to share some knowledge and key tips and my expertise, as I said, especially concerning the call of cooperation partnerships. Yes.
Because you're actually keeping yourself a little bit down from the platform here. You were the lead consultant with Erasmus Plus with grants experts, right?
Yeah, that's correct. In the past, I have served for many years as the head of the unit. Indeed.
How many have you got? How many proposals have you been working with over the years for Erasmus?
I think that I had the opportunity to work with a direct implementation of more than 45 projects under cooperation partnerships and numerous applications.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And this, as everybody knows, the listeners out there that has experience with developing proposals that have even if you just touched it just a little bit, will know that if you have been involved in this amount of proposals and projects, then you know exactly what you're talking about.
For sure.
This is your in relation to this podcast and this topic that we're doing here, you are an absolute excellent expert to have around. Thanks for that. I appreciate it immensely. Stelios, what is it you need funding for? Why do you need the money?
Well,
tell us what. Tell us your idea. What is it you?
These funds into the best possible use. We've had experience with EU-funded projects from other sources in the past years. So this Erasmus Plus is something new for us that we would like to explore, particularly to explore new partnerships and new networking and collaboration opportunities. We've had very positive experiences from the past with working with universities from other countries, other accelerators, large organizations, large corporates. So we would like to see this happening again under a new umbrella, if I can call it as such, and explore these new opportunities to have more positive impact like we had in the past. So this is something new for us, and we're looking into it very seriously, and we certainly want to know all that there is about it.
Yeah. Is it now you are perfectly legit if there's some sort of project concept or idea that you want to keep for yourself, but is there anything you can share with us of in overalls? Now you just said a few words, but is there anything specifically that makes you want to approach the Erasmus? Is that what are the elements there that is different from the funding schemes you approached earlier?
Well, I think Christina is better suited to answer this question and give these details. I'm not that familiar, but what we are looking for is we are experts in training. Mm-hmm. So we want to see how we can disseminate this expertise through this project, perhaps with new audiences that we have not worked with before. This is our main motivation. Entrepreneurship is can be this entrepreneurship training can be tailored to be provided to anyone, as long as we can identify and analyze their needs and work along those lines.
Sorry for putting you on the spot there, this is because I'm gonna relieve you now from that, because I can perfect, and that's the whole point with this episode, right? That Christina, of course, is probably an old contact of yours, helping you forward, and she would know why this would be a good idea. But obviously, training is a key part of Erasmus. So naturally, that's the key reason why it makes so much sense for her to guide you in that direction. So let's not circle around this anymore. Let's just head right at it. So the way, just to enlighten the listeners here, the way we have done this, normally I prepare a rundown based on a discussion with the guest on how to carve the angle of the episodes down. Here, I have made the frame, so to say, of what we have just went through. But Christina and Stelios, they have themselves carved out the questions that we would go through in this episode. So, of course, we have to prepare ourselves. You cannot make such an episode here without the guests being prepared what the questions are, and the expert needs to prepare itself probably sometimes with some of the replies. So this is it. But Stelios, so what we're going to do here, I'm going to let you ask the questions, open them up, and then Christina will reply, and then we just take it step by step. So what is the first question that you have dotted down on the pad?
Thank you, Niels. So our first question, first things first, we would like to know the specific components that need to be included in an Erasmus Plus proposal.
Okay, so Stelios, thanks for this first question. Before answering, however, let's give a very, very short overview of what is the general objective of Erasmus Plus, is to support lifelong learning, educational, professional, and personal development of people. And as said before by you very correctly, in education, training, youth, and sport, right? So all of these projects being approved, they want to promote sustainable growth in our Europe, the promotion of quality jobs, social cohesion, driving innovation, strengthening our European identity, and active citizenship. So these are the overall general goals, and for this programming period, which ends in 2027, the Erasmus Plus has as horizontal priorities to achieve a greener, more digital, inclusive, and promote an active participation in a more democratic life across all Europe. So what is essential to be included in an Erasmus Plus project proposal? Repeating here, specifically referring to a cooperation partnerships project, which is typically a 2-year project, a minimum of 3 countries cooperating between them, and all of the organizational profiles allowed to participate. Okay. So first of all, we need to identify the scope of the project and the objectives. So together with our partners, let's say for the sake of an example, we are a consortium of 5 partners. Then all of us together, we need to commonly decide on the challenge that we need to address. So we need to go back on the national challenges, on the thematic area. Let's say that we are developing a project under green entrepreneurship. So we really need to reflect back on the national implications on this topic. I will not make it any more specific, but we need these key challenges on national level, and then we need to elevate the whole project on a European scope and challenge. So once we decide the specific scope of the project and the objectives, then we definitely need to decide on the field that we will address. So is it going to be a vocational education and training project, a youth project, school education, higher education. So we really need to choose and definitely connect this field with the target groups and the training needs of our target groups. Another very important essential element is to align the overall project scope with the Erasmus priorities. So as I said, we need to clarify at least one horizontal priority being addressed by our project. So if it's going to be under the green, for example, priority, and then we need to, again, depending on the field that we will apply, let's say for the sake of the example that we are applying under VET, then we need to address at least 2 thematic priorities as being defined in the program guide of Erasmus. So let's say that we have, beautifully done this pre-work. Then there are some other key components of this proposal, which we usually categorize under project management. So we need to prove the capacity of this team, of this consortium to manage the project. We need to prove that we can move within the Gantt chart time levels that we will set on a consortium level. We need to assign a dissemination leader. So within those 2 years to prove how we can share the project scope, the results nationally on a European level, and if sometimes maybe apply on an international level. And definitely a final element, how we are planning to further explore possibilities to exploit the project once the funding is completed. So we have worked together perfectly as a team. Let's say that the project is approved, we have implemented it. Then how are we planning to continue working on this field, on this area, once the funding is completed? And all of these sections are really, really important for the evaluators to, have a very, very clean and organized representation of our project idea.
Yeah. Okay, Christine, follow-up question. So I think the Erasmus, as they, like the rest of the programs, put more and more emphasizing what happens after the project starts.
Yes, this is really, really important, especially in the new programming period. Why? Because we are creating very critical and important collaboration levels between organizations. We are touching upon important topics. So the European Commission wants us to give room either to new ideas being generated through the application of existing projects, or continuing our work, adding, let's say, more meaningful key roles or other key stakeholders, or expanding the final deliverables of a project to further and more target groups. In that way, we are, expanding the impact of the project. So this is what we need to keep from this element here. So how do we keep expanding the impact of the project?
Stelios, do you have any follow-up questions?
No, thank you. No further questions, but I completely agree that the project is not done once the funding period and the reporting period is complete. There should be something more coming out of it, and this impact is it's really important. That would make it worthwhile. Moving on to our next question is,
yes,
how are these proposals evaluated? How does the evaluation process go?
So under Key Action 2 Cooperation Partnerships projects, which are categorized under the decentralized actions, meaning that the projects are being assessed separately by each national agency running Erasmus in the member states of the European Union. So to keep consistency, of course, and fairness amongst our applicants, EASEA, the agency, the European agency running the program, Erasmus, has a standardized application method and template. However, if, for example, your applicant is from Cyprus, then your application will be assessed by the evaluation team in Cyprus. Okay, so each national agency, once the official deadline is completed, will collect all the applications submitted in that country, and they will start what we call the eligibility test. And if all the applications match the criteria, to put it otherwise more correctly, those applications that match the eligibility criteria are being sent further for evaluation. What we mean for evaluation, the quality assessment of the project. Yes. So each national agency is responsible to recruit their own evaluation team. They have their own internal deadlines, so we don't expect the same results period for each national agency. They set their own, let's say, announcement dates. But usually, let's say, from the application time until the time that you will receive your results, we are expecting a buffer period between 3 to 5 months maximum. Okay. So the evaluation criteria are the same for all applicants across national agencies. Just the teams assessing are based on national level. I hope this is clear.
Can I, Stelios, normally from my experience when I have been supporting especially companies and SMEs, this is often a deal breaker. So the time so the duration from the time from submission of the proposal till not only evaluate, but till you can start. This is what they say. So when can we start the project? And when you say a year or 8 months, then throughout the years, many have said, thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. Yeah, but is this something that is this something that is calibrated with what you want to do? Is it fine for you to the time to contract?
This is a real life problem, and in past programs that we've run, which if they are probably evaluated and funded in a similar way. For example, one reporting period ends, you submit, let's say your project has been approved, you start working on it. By the time the first tranche of funds is released, it's several months down the road. So if you don't have the liquidity to sustain yourself during those first months, it's a deal breaker, as you said. So I don't know if there's any way to any discussions or any thoughts on improving this.
What would you normally tell people, Christina?
So to clarify something here, definitely Erasmus Plus is not a business vehicle instrument, right? So it's not funding organizations to sustain their business operations. As we said in the beginning, it's a program providing education, training opportunities for creating better accessibility to our common European life. Definitely the evaluation period, at least to my understanding and from my experience, should become, let's say, more efficient for applicants, right? So having an applicant wait for results for at least, I don't know, between 3 and 5 months is a long period indeed. Nevertheless, from my experience, I haven't seen organizations being discouraged till now based on this waiting period, because usually everyone that participates is really excited and eager to work and collaborate on a European level through Erasmus.
Yeah, but it's also, I guess, if it's clear from the beginning.
Yes, it is, of course.
Then yeah. So if the organization, because it's not that often that you have many educational organizations that are approaching the Erasmus where they are not so reliant on money flow coming in, because they're often state-run or public organizations. But for private companies, it would be the same anywhere in the EU funding world. Yeah, if you want to approach public funding, then you need a baseline of understanding that that's just how it is. Yeah, you cannot get funding within a month. It's
That's
it's
a
just
standard process, and as you said, everything is being communicated by the agencies running each funding program in a very organized and straightforward manner. So you have this information way beforehand, deciding if you want to participate in an EU-funded program. So I think that it's definitely up to the strategic decision of each organization. We are seeing a lot of organizations participating that are really not so, let's say, training intensive in their core identities. I mean, beyond universities, research institutions, which are, typical players, or NGOs who are active in the field of youth, sport, education, and training. We are seeing a lot of SMEs, business SMEs, and this is really, really encouraging, because it shows that the impact of Erasmus is being maximized through the years. It's no coincidence that in this new programming period, the budget was doubled, the overall budget for the whole actions of the program. And yes, I mean, this is at least to me, it's one of my favorite programs, by the way. So the opportunities gained and the value gained through the Erasmus is immense and important. So for me, timing until the grant, it's okay, relatively manageable, let's say.
Anyways, it shouldn't be life and death for a company to approach public funding, right? Then you need to
That's
look
right.
at what you do as a company, right?
Yes, correct. That's correct. Yes, that's a valid point.
So coming back to the evaluation, Christina,
Yes.
we all want to prepare a proposal and maximize our chances of having it approved. So any tips on best practices on preparing a successful proposal?
Yes. So to frame it in my best way as a consultant and as a proposal writer through all of these years, be ready to go beyond. And what I mean, be ready to go beyond. If you are expecting to apply within the standard and expected, let's say, way of presenting an Erasmus Plus project proposal, I wish you good luck. Why? Because we are seeing, thankfully, that creative and innovative projects are winning ground all the time. Now this is the trend. So the evaluators really want to see innovative approaches within your project. I will give you some some tips, more tangible ones that you can think and apply if you wish to continue working with Erasmus in the future. So the first thing that is really, really important is that once you have identified your topic and your partners, your consortium of partners, you need to perform a reality check. Why? Because if you are not addressing a real need or challenge that is really, really viable at this moment, quantifiable, so that you can provide, let's say, statistics about the problem or challenge or opportunity on a European ground, then you are showing that you are not touching upon a realistic topic. So what I would like to add here, we are seeing in many trainings and all the communications from ASEA running Erasmus, asking from applicants to provide a needs analysis. So this is no coincidence. If they need a needs analysis, so it shows to us applicants that yes, we really need to touch upon a very, very practical challenge in the European sphere of, either being the market or the training area, youth area, etc. Okay, always in line with Erasmus Plus priorities. So the first tip that I will share is definitely be ready to tackle a real problem, a real challenge, or a gap within the sphere of the European Union. The second thing, and it goes back to the very highlighted tip that I gave in the beginning, level of innovation. So don't be afraid to go beyond the standard way of writing a cooperation partnership project. So if you present everything with a good rationale and still keep, let's say, your level of innovation high, then you have also a good multiverse consortium. I don't see a reason why your project shouldn't be funded. Okay, so let's say you want to develop a best practices report, a policy recommendation report, a nice training program. These are the usual expected outcomes of a cooperation partnership project. Think with your team how you can add creativity and innovation elements in order to give the sense to the evaluator that okay, they are going beyond what is currently being developed. Okay. And another very important tip that I would like to share is the following. When you are developing your project application, keep all the partners involved. Why? Because each is an expert in their area, first of all. Each of them is representing their own country, yes, in the consortium. So their level of expertise and their national implications, their suggestions on the creativity and innovation behind the project will only incrementally increase the quality of the proposal, okay? So even if, for example, you have in this consortium people who are experts in proposal writing and they're willing to write a proposal from A to Z, keep everyone involved. For me, this is key, all right? So when the evaluators see the full application, they will realize that, okay, this team worked together. So it gives a very good impression about the actual implementation of the project, yes? So you have a team ready and committed to work together in delivering a high quality project once it becomes funded. So Stelios, these are the 3 key tips for me. I hope they are clear enough. I tried to give you realistic tips from my experience with the program till now.
2 things, follow-up questions, or just first statement. So what you said in the end here, yes, that's a matter. You should always try to give as much ownership and spread it out so people, everybody, right, has a stake, a share in what has been prepared, because it shines through very easily. An evaluator, especially an experienced one, can very easily see if some are just hanging on like this, or if it's a like something that has been developed together. So that's ownership for all of the partners. The question I want to ask you, Christina, in relation to to sort of what you should be aware of. Are there any unwritten rules, so to say? Because some funding schemes, there are some things where no one is writing it. The Commission is not putting it in any of the descriptions or templates of what you're supposed to do. But in reality, there is something that an element that you should be aware of when you write out things. Are there similar elements in Erasmus that you should be aware of that they don't write?
Okay. Well, I will definitely say that although this is mentioned in the program guide, that you need to provide, let's say, metrics about the deliverables that you are developing. You should really pay attention to the presented indicators. This is something that the evaluators always check and evaluate highly when presenting the methodology behind your project. Methodology, we mean the work packages, right? So if you, let's say, undervalue or overestimate the indicators for each work package, this can be a real risk of not getting your project approved. So I think that this can be something that is implied, is there, but maybe not stressed enough, and all applicants should consider.
Thank you, Christina. It's it doesn't sound very easy, I think, but it's important to take all these components in serious consideration. And I completely agree with you that the consortium has to have ownership of the application, and not expect everything from one of the partners. It's a joint effort.
Stelios, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Did you yourself in the organization try to prepare proposals yourself before? Have you engaged yourself in okay?
No, we haven't. We've in all the projects that we've participated, we contributed, as Christina mentioned, in the proposal component that had to do with our expertise, but we were not the leaders in the overall compilation of the proposal.
Okay, but you've been involved in supporting work package descriptions or stuff like this. Okay, yeah.
And obviously the hands-on delivery of the work packages that we led.
Yeah, which I guess your next question is related to, right?
Exactly. It's a major concern for us, being focused on training, on the challenges that trainers face while implementing these projects.
Okay, so this is an amazing question, and for me, either you believe it or not, the answer is really straightforward, and it comes directly from the years of experience of managing Erasmus Plus projects. The dropout rate of the trainees. Why? Because
story of our lives.
Yes, because okay, since the element, thankfully, the element of money contribution in attending all of these very, very interesting and impactful training opportunities offered through the approved projects in Erasmus Plus. But still, since this commitment, let's say little commitment key area from the trainee side is missing, it's easy for them to drop out. So they come to your session once. Let's say that you have organized a training session of 4 face-to-face meetings and 3 online meetings. Yes, they come to the first face-to-face session. They see their co-trainees, they see their trainer, they're being introduced to the overall scope of the training program, And for any reason, they decide, I don't have the time, I cannot be committed to this, I cannot attend another, let's say, 6 sessions. So you know what, I am gonna drop out. And this is something really, really challenging. It's something that we know already and we recognize by the minute that we are designing the training programs and the application, the facilitation of the training programs. And I can honestly say that it's one of our most serious challenges.
It is.
So that's one. Second, which is again related to helping the trainee stay with you along the training journey, which is again a pilot application, right? It's not a commercial application under no circumstances. So creating an interesting agenda. So Erasmus, it's a very creative program by its nature. So as trainers, we have, let's say, this unwritten obligation to create meaningful experiences for the trainees. How we can do that? We can record their training preferences before releasing, let's say, the training content, or read about, let's say, our target group needs, research about their needs beforehand, etc. Another, let's say, key challenge is many times to find convenient, let's say, and accommodating dates and venues that match both the training needs of the trainer and the trainee. Again, we have oftentimes a restraint here because budget assigned to each national partner is limited. So sometimes organizations cannot perform the level of, let's say, training needed, or they cannot sustain the venues needed under the budget that they have assigned. So we have financial constraints here. And the final point that I would like let's say, to share is many times the diverse learning needs that you need to address through a training program. So oftentimes we have learners, participants with diverse backgrounds, experiences, and learning needs. Many times projects are introducing, in any case, new concepts. So you have to, find the golden, let's say, solution to accommodate all of these different profiles.
Understood. Dropout rates, it's something that we faced over the last over the previous years with the programs we've run. It's hard to keep them motivated and committed, and it takes a lot of effort.
Have you, Stelios, are there some of the things that you have done over the years with trainings where you saw, if we do it like this, you keep a little bit more than you would normally do? Or have you sort of carved out ways of doing it where you can at least reduce the dropouts?
Yeah, the key factor in the trainings we've run in the past was when there was a funding element for the startups. It was when they received some equity-free money, not much, but an amount enough for them to apply for a patent application or develop their prototype, or help them meet the set milestones, because there are agreed milestones in each program. This was a factor that contributed towards retaining them and ensuring that they would complete the program. But even without this, it all comes to the individual, to the person, and how committed they are, how much they believe into themselves, how risk averse they are. If they are willing to make the extra step and make the effort. This is not for the faint-hearted. So if they want to have it easy, on the first challenge, the first difficulty, they decide to withdraw. There were cases that we asked participants to withdraw when we saw that you're not putting in the effort, you're wasting your time, you're wasting our time. So it's best for us to part ways as early as possible. We don't want to see this happening, of course. We want to. We would like to avoid such incidences, but it's not fair for the people who are putting in the effort.
I think it's part of your business, Stelios. You are working with people that has an idea, right? So they are this segment, they are vibrant, or but some are less vibrant, and some have not thought through what it takes, and so you don't need these kind of people to disturb, so to say, a training course. So I guess you, in your own business concept for your company, you are counting on having sorting the sheep from the goats, right?
The training is not just the 2-3 days of a workshop. The engagement is continuous. We have follow-up coaching and mentoring sessions. Every startup has a dedicated coach that's there for them at any given time and at regular touch points during the program. So these resources are very valuable, and they are, it's best if they are used in those cases that are committed to make things work.
What I'm actually, there's no comparison, because Christina, you've been working so much with these things, and this is your business, right, Stelios? But I am, with the work that I have now, I am preparing a workshop with three steps And what we have talked a lot about this, right? To keep people coming, it's for companies that want to attract foreign labor. And here, what we did, because we can't give out any money and so on, it's publicly funded, right? But what we have done is that we have put when they will get solutions to their problem, that will be the last one. So we will use the first 2 workshops to talk about friction, to talk about what they want to change, but the solutions, the things that everybody wants, we keep that to the end. So they're not going to get any solutions. They're not going to talk about solutions before the third and last workshop. So that we'll see how it goes. But I think you're dealing with the same thing, and I guess, Christina, also you have been throughout your career writing all these concepts out, have struggling a lot with how do we, because it's psychology. Yeah, it's how do you get a person to be engaged and not just say, "Oh, screw this, I'm going to the beach." No, but it's extremely difficult. It's difficult. It's difficult to make a concept.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then let's not neglect the fact that, okay, many times we are developing a lot of training material and content which we have the capacity to create, but sometimes we might need, let's say, outside expertise. So sometimes it's also challenging to find someone who is willing to deliver such a training, let's say, unit within the scope of an Erasmus Plus project. Mm-hmm.
Yes, because that's also now you can always invite a celebrity because that keeps people. Right? That was but it's we also talked about it in our end within our corner there. Get a celebrity for people to want to. We want to see that guy. But again, then it's a little bit. What is the motivation for the trainees then? Like if we need to put a celebrity, no. It should not be that, it should be exactly what Stelios is working with and has been working with for years now. It is to shape and make startup people, to shape them up, to make them solid, to make them move forward. And if you don't have the heart for it, then it's not the celebrity that should be making the difference, right? It's their own motivation that you want to.
So, Christina, obviously, such programs have a duration of several months or a few years. So it's easy to lose track. What can we do to avoid such traps and ensure that we stay on track during these projects?
Okay, so we are talking about typically a duration of 2 or 3 years maximum. This is being decided definitely on the application stage. As I said, again, together with all your team members, with the entire consortium. Okay, so you are laying the foundations of your project management when designing the methodology of managing your project since the application stage. And then you are definitely trying to deliver what you have promised in the application. So if you are structuring a really well-organized project management methodology, probably you will deliver a good project. But as we know, theory from application is very two different things. So in order to make sure that you keep a project on track, then you need to apply this goes for the project coordinator, and definitely upon collaboration with all the partners, a very good project management tool where you are trying to reinforce communication and collaboration through this digital, let's say, tool. The project quality assurance leader has a very key role in assessing how the project's progressing, the viable risks, measuring the achievement of the indicators, measuring the productivity rate of the team, measuring the efficiency and the ability to deliver of the work package leaders, and identifying weaknesses there. So the project coordinator and the quality assurance leader should work together hand in hand in ensuring that, okay, we are doing a good job or not. And if we are not doing a good job, what are we, suggesting, or which methods can we employ in order to bring the project back on track? So a good project management tool, very frequent quality assurance evaluations, either face-to-face or online, a very open and transparent communication mode with your partners at all times. This should be very straightforward from the kickoff meeting with the entire consortium, and making sure that we have done from the application stage a very good risk assessment analysis, and making sure that we don't face the risks identified whatsoever in the actual project implementation.
Everything is exactly what I would expect. Stelios, have you been coordinated? Are you supposed to coordinate what you want to do here? Are you supposed to coordinate the project?
It depends on the consortium and the expertise, but we wouldn't have a problem undertaking this task.
Have you been coordinating projects before?
No, we haven't been the lead in any of the projects we participated so far. There's always a first time.
I think if now you've been in business for a while, so I don't think you're going to face much. But what you will need to follow closely is what Christina said, and take her lead on it, and also maybe a little advice as you move on. Because it's not much different from a commercial project, but it's just things have different names, and there are some responsibilities toward the commission that you need to be aware of. It's like coordinating when you run with other partners in commercial projects, right? It's you are transparent in those connections as well.
Yeah. So, and picking up from the last question, Christina, can you give us some examples of unexpected issues and roadblocks during the implementation phase of a project, and how we can deal with these?
For sure. I have quite a few examples.
We are all ears.
Yes, that have really triggered the good implementation of an Erasmus Plus project. So first of all, the silent partners. What we mean with the silent partner that will appear on the kickoff meeting and you will never see them again until it's time to deliver the interim report. Okay, this is a really extreme but very bad case of a partner to have in a project. Anyone who is really active with a project implementation, they know what I am talking about, I am sure. We have all experienced at some point in our careers this profile. So this is number one, let's say, example. Second example is a partner who is, showing they can deliver their delegated tasks, but in reality, they don't. So a partner which appears capable, but during the project implementation, for various reasons, they cannot really deliver. Either they don't have the technical experts promised, or they are having frequent changes in their project managers. Another example that we are seeing very often. So this is another, let's say, issue that hinders the good implementation of a project. Another, let's say, critical issue and very typical example, we are all, people, and communication sometimes doesn't go as expected. So we are seeing partners not being able to communicate on a very healthy way between them. Well, it's a true story here, dear Niels.
Yeah, no, but it's just the choice of words, but conflicts.
Yes. So yes, it's another typical example of things not going as expected. And finally, very extreme case here, but might happen. You never know. Partner who will decide to leave the consortium for whatever reason. This might, drive this decision, but it happens. So then you are left with their either work package or the task that they have assigned to them, their budget that probably they will need to return back to the coordinator, a lot of, let's say, issues. So how we can tackle all of these issues, for me, the 3 C's rule is very, very important. Communication, communication, communication. If you are not being straightforward, open and upfront with your team of partners, I think that you are compromising the quality and implementation from the very beginning. So even if you are the project leader, try to be honest with the people. You are working with other people. We are all professionals, yes, but we are people at the same time. And think collectively. This is why we are working as a team to implement the project, right? So try to utilize collective thinking and ideas and suggestions of your partners. And, you know, once something does not, you know, go in the design, let's say, way, try to find a viable solution to tackle it. Okay, that's the spirit of having a cooperation partnership project. We are a team and we are moving forward as a team. Of course, the national agencies are there to help us tackle any unknown or unresolved issues if there is a need. Yes.
Mm-hmm. How responsive are they?
Very, very, very responsive, very, very helpful, and we are really, really, really happy with across the national agencies. The experience is very positive.
I think what I've heard from my recordings on Erasmus is that there is a certain diversity. This, unfortunately,
yes.
As it is, this is as you can
there
expect,
can be,
right?
there,
so it's also a matter of
be...
different bureaucracy cultures. You have the former former communist countries have a certain bureaucratic tradition. Also, some countries in the south, Spain, Italy, there's France. You have a certain bureaucratic tradition. Germany has a certain bureaucratic tradition, and these things can, I know from some of my guests that if you need the standards sometimes is a little diverse. So some ask for a lot of documentation.
Okay.
Of
I'm not gonna disagree with you on this one, definitely. But however, I strongly believe and apply in my work every day that if you are maintaining a high level of professionalism and you are, let's say, if you're facing an issue and you are explaining everything in a very good and explanatory manner, then and you have a very also good approach, professional and friendly approach, then sooner or later you will get the answers that you are seeking. Okay.
Surely.
So we've talked about, Chrysalis, you talked to us about how to ensure we remain on track, how to deal with all these problems, but how do we internally evaluate the progress and the impact that our project will have? How do we do that during the project?
Okay, so if you remember during our first question, analyzing the important elements being presented in an Erasmus Plus Cooperation Partnerships application, is that we need to present how we will assess the project on a qualitative and quantitative manner. Okay. So typically, it is expected that we will have a designated quality assurance leader. Each project has a quality assurance leader. Yes. So since the structuring of the project application, we are presenting a very good structure, initial, let's say, actions that the quality assurance leader will implement if the project is approved. Yes. Okay. So let's say that we want to develop a very good quality assurance strategy for our project. Then we need to link the objectives of the project with a clear set of indicators. This is what we said before. So what we want to achieve and provide measurable means of achieving these objectives. Then we also need to explain how we will achieve the interim and official final report of the project, but at the same time, how we are going to report on the progress of the project internally. So a good, let's say, practice here is for the quality assurance leader through evaluation tools like surveys, questionnaires, or if needed, sometimes face-to-face focus groups discussions or small interviews, short interviews, to gather, let's say, data about the progress of the project. Yes. Then these internal progress reports, and then the official progress reports will definitely reflect the level of quality of implementation of the project. And the quality assurance leader is definitely responsible, again, with full transparency, to come back to the project consortium and say, guys, we are doing this in a very great way, but we have these challenges. We can improve A, B, C, D. Yes. So in this way, all the team is being, informed at any given time that we are doing a good job or not, and what we need to improve. At the same time, no partner can come back to us and say, oh, you didn't inform me about that. Yes?
Yes, yes.
We can utilize definitely really nice data analysis, digital data analysis tools if needed, if we really want to apply very strict, let's say, quality assurance evaluation tactics. And including a very good, let's say, balance of evaluation methods, I think can be, critical in order for us to present a very, very good QA strategy.
Yeah, as we say, there is no letter I in the word team.
No, exactly.
It's a collective effort.
Yes, at all times. Otherwise, I don't think they would name this call cooperation partnerships. It will be something else.
Now we've run out of questions, and I think it should be obvious for the dear listeners out there why Stina here has been been invited in as an expert. It's been fantastic to follow this. Stelios, do you have any other questions before we round it up?
I think it's when can we apply? When do calls open? How often? How many times during the year? Thematics and so on.
Okay, so typically for cooperation partnership projects, KA2, we are expecting a very big deadline every March of every calendar year. And depending on the availability of budget remaining from this round of applications, and we might have additional rounds, typically between the autumn, let's say, period of each calendar year. However, since we have the fields of applying, then we can expect sometimes, especially for the youth calls, two such application deadlines within a year. Everything is subject to the high-level programming being presented by ASEA. The next submission deadline we have in front of us at this moment for this key action is Cooperation Partnerships for Youth call on the 4th of October 2023. For the new year, for 2024, we are expecting a deadline again in March for vet, school education, higher education, and probably youth, but we don't know still. The deadlines are to be announced.
Thank you, Christina.
My pleasure, Stelios.
Now, thanks, both of you. This has been very nice. I hope that you both thought that this was an interesting approach podcast format.
Definitely.
I'm just going to before we say goodbye to the listeners, I'm just gonna land the plane of the program. So, dear listeners, especially all you guys out there that are potentially approaching the Erasmus Plus program. I hope that this has been informative and helpful for you too, because definitely there's lots of information and content from this episode that you will be able to take under your vests in order to move forward with your proposal. I will, in the episode notes, I will put up Christina's LinkedIn profile so you can approach her. I will also put a link to Stelios' company if any of you would be interested in that. And Christina's company, you will also have a link. So if anyone needs to reach out to her, you can do that. So as for me, the podcast, go in and check out. Start building up quite some content on Erasmus Plus. So there's both an introduction there to the program and some projects that has been presented now. So go in, check out that on thegrant.eu. There's also lots of other content on how to prepare proposals and tips and tricks and so on. So check it out. There you will also find the very, very important subscription to my podcast email list, which is important for me. So if you have any sympathy with what I do here, if you think, yes, my goodness, finally there's a Q&A podcast, you please go in, subscribe to it, and then you support me with what I do here. Last thing, connect with me on LinkedIn. I have to remember to say that. Connect with me with LinkedIn if you want to follow. So that's where the action happens, right? So connect in there. That's where I like people. That's where I share things and so on and so forth. And finally, if you think that you would like to be on the grant, it's the road to the grant is very short. You reach out. If you have something to share, we carve an episode and then we set up the recording. That's it. Now I don't have any more things to say. Christina, Stelios, thank you so much for engaging in this pilot experiment of a segment. It's a very nice first go at this. I hope that you felt comfortable in the format. Thanks, and so have a nice summer, and let's say goodbye to the listeners. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.